This is story about the vanishing girl in room 404, true horror incident in a US college. This happened in 2016 at a well-known university in the Midwest. A place famous for academics, but on one floor of the dormitory. Students whispered about a room that should have stayed locked. Emily, a freshman majoring in architecture, was assigned to room 404 in Eastbridge Hall, an older dorm building on campus. At check-in, the RA looked confused. "I didn't know they reopened that room," she muttered under her breath. Emily didn't think much of it, until her roommate Jenna told her the story. The last girl who stayed in room 404, a sophomore named Brooke, disappeared. No one saw her leave. Her phone, backpack, and even shoes were still in the room. Campus police called it a runaway, but students said she was last seen entering the room and never came back out. Emily was skeptical. "It's probably just a rumor," she said. But that very night, strange things started happening. The ceiling light buzzed constantly, and the bulb flickered. Only in their room. Maintenance checked it. "Wiring looks fine," they said. At 2:13 a.m., Emily heard scratching from inside the closet. Jenna thought she was imagining it, until she heard it too. Things escalated fast. The mirror on their desk began to fog up by itself. Words would appear in the condensation. First, "I'm cold." Then, "Help me." Jenna freaked out and requested a room change. Emily stayed behind, determined to prove it was all in her head. One night she recorded the sounds on her phone. Whispers, soft crying, and someone saying, "Don't look at the mirror." She played it for her friend, Vanessa, a junior who had been close with Brooke. Vanessa turned pale. "That voice, that's Brooke. I swear it is." Emily started digging. She found out that Eastbridge Hall used to be part of an old state asylum. Room 404 had once been a patient's room. In 1952, a girl named Grace was found dead inside, after writing "She's in the mirror" over and over on the wall, using a shard of glass. The room had been sealed until a recent renovation. Emily emailed the dean and begged to move out. The request was approved. But the night before she was set to leave, she vanished, just like Brooke. Her phone was found on her bed. One final voice note played on a loop. "She's in the mirror. She's in the mirror. She's in the mirror." Room 404 is sealed off again. But students swear, if you pass by the door at 2:13 a.m., you can still hear the scratching and someone whispering your name. In 2015, at a university in Pennsylvania, a freshman moved into her dorm excited to begin a new chapter. What she didn't know was that someone was already living there, and that person didn't exist on paper. Main story begins. Lena was a biology major, thrilled to start her college life. She moved into a double dorm room in Hensley Hall, a historic building known for its antique architecture and quiet halls. Her assigned roommate, according to paperwork, was delayed a week. The first night, Lena unpacked, made her bed, and FaceTimed her mom. Everything felt fine, until she woke up at 3:47 a.m. to the sound of humming. A woman's voice. Soft, slow, and just a little off tune. She turned on the lights. No one there. She assumed it came from the next room. But when she knocked the next morning, the room next door was empty. The entire floor had only a few occupied rooms. The next night, it happened again. Humming, closer this time. It seemed to be coming from the closet. She flung the door open. Nothing, but a mirror that had been packed in her suitcase was already hanging inside. She didn't remember putting it up. On the third night, Lena noticed something deeply disturbing. Someone had written on her biology notebook just one sentence: "I don't like loud breathing." She reported it to her RA, but there were no signs of forced entry. They changed the lock. That night, Lena set up her phone to record while she slept. The next morning, she checked the footage. At exactly 3:47 a.m., her closet door creaked open, and a figure stepped out. A girl dressed in an old university hoodie walked over to Lena's bed and just stood there, watching her sleep for nearly 10 minutes. Then she walked back into the closet. Lena ran straight to campus security. They swept the room. Behind the closet panel, they discovered a hidden crawl space used decades ago when the dorm was part of a convent. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, a journal, and photos of Lena, taken from within the room. The handwriting in the journal matched the note in her notebook, and the name signed in the journal, Abigail Monroe, a girl who had reportedly died in that building in 1997 after a mental health crisis. No one could explain how the crawl space had been opened or how the mirror was hung. The university sealed off the floor for renovations. But students say Abigail still hums through the vents in Hensley Hall, and every year a freshman receives a note on their notebook: "I don't like loud breathing."